Y'all, this did not need to be an hour and a half. Like this for this being Casa Amor's first episode, you would think that it would need to be an hour and a half, but it really didn't. Like it was kind of dragging, and it makes me mad that we didn't get to see a darn sneak peek for tomorrow. But we'll see the first look tomorrow. But shout out to y'all. What y'all did last night, shout out to y'all. Like we hit one, I think we got like 1.2 thousand likes on the video. Do that again. I know this episode wasn't really hitting the way last ones did, where we had a lot to talk about. But smash that like button. Be in the comments. There were so many comments. I couldn't even go through and respond to all of them like that because I was overwhelmed. I had to go through and like them all. But get down there in the comments. Subscribe if you're new. Shout out to y'all again. I think I've gotten almost 250, almost 300 new subscribers overnight. Shout out to y'all for following the TikTok too. If you haven't already, go to the link in the bio. Go subscribe there. I'm going to start posting TikTok snippets as well. Not today because this one I don't even know what I would post. But yeah, shout out to y'all. And I'm super, super appreciative of y'all. We are so close to 10K. But yeah, let's go. All right, so we come back where we left off, where Jeremiah and Hannah, they're gone. The girls are pretty much walking around or whatever, and Amaya is pretty much telling the girls that she's still grateful that she's there. Iris thanks them for allowing her to be there as well. But we get a conversation with Ace and Chelley, and Shelley's pretty much telling him about why they made the decision that they did. And she's stating that even though Hannah and Pepe had a strong connection, they haven't really explored outside of each other, which is why they decided to send Hannah home and keep Amaya and Iris, because they actually have. And I'm like, that makes no sense, Shelley, because Amaya and Iris, they definitely have, but Hannah has too. Hannah explored, what's his face? Charlie. So, like, that made no sense. Like, it just proves that they all don't. They just made decisions that just, it's what they felt. And it was based off of connections that they had with them, not the connections that they were making. But TJ, he ends up asking Taylor and Nick how they came to their decision. And again, it made no sense. Taylor sitting there saying that they thought that Jeremiah would do the same thing that he did with Huda, and claims that they were looking out for his best interest, and they just weren't seeing it, and he wasn't seeing it either. It's like, how do you say that he's doing the same thing that he did with Huda when he was still exploring? He explored Iris and Andreina at the same time. Y'all voted the way that y'all did, and it would be more respect. You would get more respect if you were just upfront with what you did. Y'all voted the way y'all did because y'all are jealous of him. Y'all wanted him gone because he was the biggest threat for y'all in the game. Not only that, he was taking the girls that y'all wanted. Ace particularly, I believe what everybody's been saying from the beginning. Ace probably wanted Huda. Huda wanted Jeremiah. Iris came in. He was trying to entertain Iris. Iris went for Jeremiah. Now Andreina came in. As we saw when Andreina came in, Ace was jumping up and down. But guess who she wanted? She wanted Jeremiah. So, like, everything that Ace probably wanted, Jeremiah had, so he had to go. And we all know Nick and Taylor are his bitches, and they're going to do what he tells them to do. So that's what it was. But Taylor says that. Nick then says that now that he and Hannah are gone, we can't just keep living in the past, essentially. I said, shut up, Nick. Just shut up. But Pepe then says that he's not going to force any of his next connections now that Hannah's gone. And he says that Hannah ended up bringing out a side of him that doesn't necessarily always come out of him. But Pepe then says that he'd be happy when Hannah and Huda switching places, as would I. As would America. Like, we all wanted that. We wanted that. But Olandria, well, at least the ones that are grown, the children are the ones that are back in Huda. Like, be for real. But Olandria, she ends up saying that watching them crying makes her feel responsible for what happened, of course. But Ace then tells Shelley that he's confused on why they didn't send Amaya home. And Shelley says that Amaya stayed optimistic with trying to speak to other people and making other connections. Amaya then says that she can't help but feel guilty about Hannah going home. And Huda's like, you don't have to feel guilty. We did that. That was on us. We're the ones that made that decision. We wanted you here to actually have an experience as well and get to know other people. But Austin then says that he's grateful to the boys for them feeling like he deserves to be here. And I said, Austin, you are really slow because they don't care about you either. They cared more about getting Jeremiah out than they did about your well-being in this game. You just happen to be in the right place at the right time. They wanted Jeremiah out, so you got lucky. That's just really what it is. You got lucky. But Cierra and Nick, They're at the dock and they're having a conversation, and she ends up asking him if he was surprised by their decision that they made to send Hannah home, and he says that he was shocked. She then says that there was more effort coming from Amaya and Iris with getting to know other people. So he then addresses their conversation that they had had the night before about keeping things open, and when she came to bed, she didn't really acknowledge him. Why would she? Like, you literally pretty much told her, like, you're open to getting to know other people after y'all fucked. And I guess he just thought she was going to be immature and keep pining after him, and then realize that she at least is in tune with her emotions. But she then says that it was a wake-up call for her because maybe they have different definitions of what it means to be open. And she said that she might just need to create distance. That's what she was thinking in the moment. But she then stated that she was second-guessing herself. And he says that's not what he was trying to say. Then what was you trying to say then, Nick? Like, and it's clear in this moment that he was trying to do and say anything to reel her back in. And that's what happened, but we'll get to it. He says that he can see a future for them, and it's just on his way to not being completely open. Basically, he's stating that I see where we could possibly end up closing off. Yeah, bullshit. But she then tells him that she just wanted him to understand that he would miss her without her being in the bed with him. And he says, well, it worked. Like, I do miss you. Essentially, that's what he's stating. But now they claim to be back on the same page. She ends up kissing him. I'm like, Cierra, you just been gamed. Like, he just ran game on you. But she gets to her confessionals and says that he gave her the reassurance that she needed. Yeah, because he told you what he knew that you needed to hear. He's not telling you the truth. He's just telling you what he needs to get you back in his back pocket. But it's bedtime, and Amaya is crying alone in the makeup room, obviously because she feels bad about Hannah going home. But Iris and Andreina, they come in there as well. They comfort her, and Amaya is pretty much still talking about how she's upset because Hannah went home. And it's like she feels bad because Hannah's at home, but she's also grateful that she's still there. But Ace is worried about Amaya now. Jeremiah is gone. Now it's all Amaya now. He's ton of focus on Amaya. What the fuck does she have to do with you? Like, that is not your problem anymore. Why are you so worried about everybody that does not have anything to do with you? Ace is so annoying. Like, he's gotten... And y'all know I found him interesting and funny at the beginning, but he's just, the more I watch him, the more I'm like, you're annoying. Why are you so worried about everybody else but you and your couple? He was spent the entire time worried about Jeremiah. You got rid of Amaya, and now you sitting here worried about her again. Like, what are you worried about? But he's telling the boys that Amaya should have went home, and says no disrespect to her, but we're two different people. Yeah, y'all are. You are messy. She's not. That's where y'all are different. You out here running game, and she's actually out here trying to find love. That's the difference. That's the difference between the two of y'all. But Ace then asked Austin if he's told Amaya how he really feels about her, and I'm like, he's probably gonna do something to try and hurt Amaya because he knows that Austin didn't. Because Austin says, no, I'm trying to figure out the right way because I just don't want to hurt her. But everybody ends up going to bed. The next day, TJ brings up the drinks as usual. This time, Nick did not throw the drink out, and he says that Cierra ends up thanking him too for not doing it and not being petty. But Huda ends up getting a text talking about how the villa will host a kissing challenge for today. And everybody's in there brushing their teeth and stuff. And Amaya ends up stating that she loves kissing and she speaks many different languages through her tongue. She's funny. She's funny. But Austin then is talking about how he practices on his pillow, of course. But they begin. Ariana then comes walking out. The boys can't see because the boys are blindfolded and they have headphones on. So they can't see or hear. So she comes in and she's walking in very quietly. She's got these cue cards where she's just dropping them, giving them notes, leading up to telling the girls that y'all are going to Casa Amor. They start jumping up and down all silently. Amaya is running around in circles. Everybody's excited for the most part. Everybody, which ones do y'all think didn't really show that much excitement? I'm not even going to tell y'all. I want y'all to guess and put it in the comments. But y'all already know the answer. But it pretty much tells them they're leaving the villa now. So they're all jumping and leaving out. They go grab their suitcases. And Ariana is still at the villa. So they go off to Casa Amor. She's still at the villa with the boys. Why? Because the Casa Amor girls are coming in. So the boys, they're sitting there listening to music. The girls are coming in. So we start meeting the girls. The first one we got is Gracyn. She was the one in the green bathing suit. She's 25 years old. She models for an energy drink company. And she was the only one, I believe, that stated who she was going for, which was Nick. So, which is interesting because we'll get to it. Clarke. We meet Clarke next. She's 24 years old. She's a peer mentor. She was a world champion cheerleader. She didn't tell us who she was going for. But she said she has a few guys in mind. We'll see if she actually acts on that. The next one we get is Vanna. She is 21 years old. She is coming in for Ace. She got a face full of plastic. That's all I'm going to tell you. She blind. So we'll see, even though we saw at the end, but we'll see if it actually ends up blossoming into something else. But then we get Coco. Coco's the baddest one out of all of them, and it's not even close. It's not even close. Her name is Courtney, but Coco is what she goes by. She's 24 years old from LA. She is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. She got personality. She does hair and makeup. She's gorgeous. Gorgeous. That's a baddie. If anybody comes back and stays for the rest of the season from the Casa girls, it got to be her. I want it to be her. But what? Oh my God, we gonna get to it. But Jaden is the last one. She's 25 years old. She's a corporate investigator. So they get on in there and they begin the kissing challenge. Gracyn goes up first. They go down the line kissing everybody. The one that I felt like she had the most connections with, or at least the most chemistry with, was Pepe, and he liked the kiss. He said it was sensual. Austin ended up lifting her up, and I'm like, yeah, because you know it was a snow bunny. But Pepe rated, because the boys have to rate the kisses too, and Pepe rated hers a 10. TJ rated it a 7. Ace rated it a 6. Taylor did a 6.5. Austin's was a 7.5, and Nick's was a 6. So Clarke goes up next. She was biting on Ace's lip. That's the one that I feel like she had the most chemistry with. She was in there with him. Ace thought it was Cierra. Interesting. Austin ends up doing the same thing he did with the first girl, and Nick was grabbing her ass. Where's the consent, Nick? Where is the consent? Where is that at? But Pepe votes at a 10. TJ voted in an 8.5. Ace an 8.7. Taylor a 9. Austin a 4.6. And Nick a 7. Jaden, she's up next. She had some pretty heavy kisses with Pepe, Ace, TJ, and Taylor. All of them, she was giving it her all. Austin said that it was interesting. Essentially, well, the way that he was acting, it was interesting. But Nick ends up grabbing her ass too. I'm like, Nick, you doing too much for somebody that claims that you essentially are you're pretty much prioritizing Cierra. The way you acting in these challenges is ridiculous. And it's not only that you don't know who these girls are and you could think that it's Cierra, but not only that, you've kissed multiple girls now and you're grabbing multiple asses. And we all know Cierra's not more than one person. But Coco, well, actually, let's get the ratings. Pepe rated it a 10. TJ rated it a 6.5 because it was aggressive. Ace rated it an 8.6. Taylor a 9. Austin a 9. And Nick a 5. And I'm like, after you grabbed her ass like that, that's what you gave it. But Coco, Ariana loved her. We all know Ariana liked the black girls. But she's got respect. The way she went about it, I like the way she went about it. She was smart. She kind of gave, the way she did it, you could tell which one she was feeling. And she said that she essentially knows a woman's superpower is being her sexy, sensual self. She was essentially teasing a lot of the guys. The ones that she started kissing was the ones that you could tell she really, really wanted, or at least was interested in. And it was Taylor. I was like, really? Out of everybody, him was the one. With her looking the way I'm like, okay. But they was going at it, lip biting and everything. But Taylor said that he was thinking it was Olandria, but not at the same time. He was like, I think it's her, but not at the same time. I don't think it's her. But she ended up kissing Austin and Nick on their bodies. So Pepe ended up giving that a 10. TJ gave it a 5 because she was pecking him. She didn't want him. Ace got a 9.6. Taylor gave it a 9.8. Austin gave it a 2. And Nick gave it an 8. Vanna was up next. She went in. She said there was no chemistry with TJ. Ace was grabbing her ass. And I'm like, Ace, you know what Shelley's kisses feel like. So I'm pretty sure. And then not only that, this woman she got blown up lips. So you could tell what's real and what's not. But he was in there going full-fledged like Ace would normally do in a challenge. But she also was going in with Nick too. Nick was getting handsy. He liked it. Pepe gave it a 9. TJ gave it a 7. Ace gave it a 9.8. Taylor gave it a 1, if I remember correctly. Austin gave it a 2. Nick said it was his best kiss, a 9.5. So Ariana then tells them to remove their blindfolds. They see that it's new girls. And Ace is looking impressed. Obviously, it's a new piece. It's 5 new pieces of ass standing right there in front of them. Ariana then tells them that the girls are the ones that they have been kissing. So she then tells the girls that Well, she tells them that the girls, their girls, the OG girls, are at Casa Amor and will be meeting new boys. And while they're going to be doing that, they're going to be getting to know these girls. So Ariana then lets him know, too, that this year we're doing Casa Amor differently. You're all going to be single islanders. You're not going to be coupled up anymore. You're going to be coupling up with these girls. So essentially, it's fair game. Like, she pretty much wants everybody to actually explore. Let's actually enjoy Casa Amor and do what Casa Amor is meant to do. So she wants everybody to have a clean slate. The same thing's going to happen with the girls in Casa Amor. But she says for the first time ever, that's what's going to happen. She then tells them to think of it as starting from scratch and giving these girls a chance and actually getting to know these girls. But she then tells them, too, that everybody will be returning this year. So I'm assuming that everybody that ends up in a couple after Casa Amor is done, they're going to come back. And then I guess they're going to rework those connections again and see which ones actually work. We'll see later on. But she then has them couple up. So the girls go up to go stand on the guy's platform that they want to couple up with. So they go up there and stand. Gracyn goes up there to Pepe. Vanna goes up there for Ace. Coco and Clarke go up there for Taylor. I was like, him of all people? Nick and TJ, they're standing alone. Nobody wanted them. I was like, Nick's ego is probably bruised. But Taylor was feeling himself, obviously, because he got two women right there. And one is, like, without a doubt, one of the baddest ones that has been on Love Island USA, period. So Taylor ends up choosing the baddest one, Coco. Clarke, she had to go sit back down on the bleachers. TJ and Nick, they didn't get picked. TJ was disappointed, but he's like, it's whatever at this point. Ariana then asked if he thinks that he was rude about the kisses. He was like, no, I was just being honest. Which he was. I mean, shit, what you want him to do? Lie about it? Like, y'all asked him to rate the kisses, and he rated them the way that he felt them. Like, I mean, that's just what it is. Nick wasn't worried about it. But Clarke, she goes and picks Nick. TJ, honestly, was the realest one out of all of them, which is why I was shocked that they curved him of all people. But okay. But Ariana then tells him that he has 24 hours to make a connection. Because if he doesn't make one, he's at risk of being dumped from the island. I was like, damn. But Ariana encourages them again to get to know each other. And I was like, exactly. And she ends up leaving and they start mingling. So they all head to the fire pit, start asking the questions where they're from, yada, yada, yada. Clarke, we find out Clarke is from Charlotte, North Carolina. If y'all don't know, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I got to root for her a little bit. But Nick and Gracyn, they both connecting on both being from Florida. Ace is talking about how he fucks with all the new girls. We'll see. We'll see how long he is on his best behavior, but we'll see. But somebody then asked if anybody else is closed off, and nobody says that they are, essentially. So Ace then says that he has a connection with Chelley, but he's open, they're open. Nick then says that he first said, I had a connection with, and then he tried to correct it and says, I have a connection with Cierra, but essentially they're open too. So Cierra's over there at Casa Amor. The rest of the girls, they're over there at Casa Amor. So they head off to go talk in their couples, the ones that are in the villa. Gracyn and Pepe, they were connecting on sports. Like, we find out that she had a lot of internships that were very much in the sports industry. He, as we all know, he played basketball, so they had that connection on sports. He wasn't expecting that from her because just looking at her, I guess he just didn't get the vibe that she actually would be into sports. But he's attracted to her. Obviously, she's a blonde. As we all know, he likes blondes. Ace and Vanna, there's no connection there at all. He ends up asking her where she's from. She's from Salt Lake City, Utah. From what I know, Utah people, for the most part, don't fool with us. But that's what I know for the most part. But she then talks about how there's a Utah stereotype with their girls out there with being tan and blonde. Ace said that he enjoys talking to her, but bring back Chelley. That's what he said in his confessionals. Nick and Clarke, there's no connection there either. She's an introvert. And she was like, I mean, you can bring out the extrovert in me, essentially. He ends up saying that he loves making people laugh. She says it's not hard to make her laugh. He says the physical attraction is somewhat there. It's not somewhat. Like, we all know, it's either there or it's not. Especially with a man. It's either there or it's not. There's no somewhat or in between. So that's not going to happen. He said that she's not goofy. She's a grown woman. Like, she's grown. You can tell she's grown. She's 24, but you can tell she's mature. Austin and Jaden. He loves her eyes. He loves that she picked him. And, of course, he loves it because he finally is getting chosen. But he starts talking about their tattoos. And they both have the same tattoo. Well, they don't have the same tattoo, but they both have a tattoo on the inside of their lip. Cool. Coco and Taylor. He's asking her questions and stuff. I'm like, oh, interesting. He's actually trying to take control over the conversation. But he asked her where he sees herself in 5 years. She essentially says, like, if my husband fell into my lap, I would lock in right now and I'm ready to have kids. She's very upfront. You can tell she's very secure in herself, which in turn, he's barely making eye contact with her. He's looking up at her, but he's not like maintaining the eye contact, which lets me know he's either intimidated by her or he's just truly intimidated by her, or he doesn't like her. But then again, too, he seems physically attracted to her, so I don't want to say that he doesn't like her. He might just be intimidated by her, at least for right now. But she tells him what she looks for in a man, and that's pretty much what she just stated. But he then says the whole time he was talking to her, he was stargazing. So essentially, he's interested in her, which is interesting considering what we got going on at Casa Amor. But we'll get to that in a minute. But Casa Amor, the boys, the Casa Amor guys, they start coming in. We get Elan and Bryan. They're the first two in. Elan is 24 years old. He's from Toronto, and he's a tech consultant. Bryan is 28 years old. Grown man. He works in real estate. He's a financial accountant, and he bartends. He get money. He knows what he needs to do in life to be a man. So I'm like, good. And he said he likes Dominicans. I was like, Amaya, you got a chance. And then I realized, oh wait, Andreina's here too. I was like, damn, Amaya, you almost had one. But they're the first two. They're the first two people in Casa Amor. So they're talking about bringing hella energy for the girls. Elan then says that he's going for Cierra, and Bryan's like, yeah, she fine. But they're talking in the Zacks. The two Zacks come in. We got two Zacks. One is white. One is Asian. The Zack that's Asian, his is with a K. He was on Big Brother the UK. He's 29 years old. He's a model. He's originally from Thailand, but he lives in the UK. And he said he's trying to find his wife. Zack is 26 years old. He's from Arizona. I knew immediately him and Iris are probably going to be the ones to connect. Then we get the two dudes, the two niggas coming in, the two black dudes coming in. JD looks corny to me, 23 years old from Puerto Rico. He's an athlete. Chris is 27 years old. He's a professional baller. I said in the moment, go get him, Olandria, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But they start talking about what they like in a woman and whatnot. JD says that he likes a calm woman, but a little bit of spice. Explains why he chose what he chose, but we'll get to it. Well, it doesn't really change. It doesn't explain it because calm was not okay. We'll get to it. But the girls, they come in, they greet the boys. Huda's sitting there talking about it's my time to shine. We didn't really get to see Huda the rest of the episode, which was interesting. But Amaya and Chris, they were having a little fun, little back and forth. She's like, "You're a giant," and he tells her that he's 6'8", and she's like, "Oh shit." Amaya has good energy. I just hate that she can't find somebody truly at this moment in time that seems to appreciate that. Well, at the end of the episode, we got something to talk about. We'll get to it. But she says she ain't complaining about him being tall. But they all sit down, start getting to know each other. Zack pretty much asks who's open, and pretty much every single girl says essentially they're open. So Ariana comes in and she tells them the news that she just told the boys. Same situation's going on here. But she then tells them that when she calls their name, go up, pop a balloon with a dart, and read what it says. Basically, you about to kiss a bunch of people. So they begin. The first one up is Amaya. Hers was to kiss the two islanders that could change her type. She chooses Chris and Zack K, the Asian with the tattoos. She had good chemistry with both of them. The kisses, they seemed like they were very much passion-filled. It seems like there was a clear, at least physical connection on both ends from both the guys with Amaya. So good for her. Huda, she goes up next. Hers was kissing two islanders that she thinks are the best kissers, and she chose Elan and Bryan, and she had that tongue out. And with her kisses, I feel like she had more chemistry with Bryan, and you could tell she probably likes Bryan a lot more. But Cierra, she's next up. Hers was kiss the islanders who look like players. She chose Bryan and Elan. Elan wanted her. Bryan said that she was fine, so she detected the right two. Elan and her seem to be matching up, so we'll get to that in a minute. But she said she felt those eyeballs, essentially. So she felt that they were actually looking at her, so she decided to take advantage of it. Olandria, she's up next. Hers was to kiss the islanders that caught her eye, and she chose Elan and Chris. Olandria said Elan, she chose him because that's not her normal type, so she wanted to pretty much step outside of her box. Chris had her feeling it, because the minute she finished, she grabbed that hat. You could see it all over her face, and she wasn't expecting all of that. But Olandria said it was a 10 out of 10 in her confessionals. Chelley goes up next. Hers is to kiss the Islanders, who are her type on paper. She picks up Zach with the C, the white boy, and Chris. Chris said that he was hoping that Chelley would pick him and hoping that he was her type because obviously that's his first choice. And they was kissing with passion. He picked her up and everything. Chelley liked the kiss. Iris goes up next. She kisses the Islanders that she'd like to get to know better, which was Chris and Zach. I'm laughing at this point because JD ain't getting no action. He get none. Not a single girl picked him, which I'm like, you going home. There's no way he's staying here. But they kissed. Andreina's last up, and hers was to kiss the Islanders that she thought would slide in her DMs, and that was Zach with the C and Bryan. Her and Bryan, I was like, oh yeah, they got chemistry. Sorry, Jeremiah. I was like, damn, Jeremiah. They brought the wrong one in if you wanted to come back and get her, because her and Bryan, they just made sense. Even though her and Jeremiah look good on paper too, these two look good on paper too. But the girls, they end up, it's their turn to couple up essentially at this point. So the boys get to go choose like the Casa Amor girls did. So Bryan goes up to Andreina, JD goes up to Huda, Elan goes up to Cierra, Chris and Zach with the K go up to Chelley. And Zach ends up choosing Iris, the one with the C. Ariana didn't ask Amaya how she's feeling. She's like, I'm a queen. I know my worth, so it's okay. But JD then says that he chose Huda because he can sense that fire and it intrigues him. I said, you sat and watched how she acted and you walked to the biggest break. She should have been the one that was sitting there single. If you want to keep it all the way a buck, she should have been the one sitting there single. Why would you want to go to her after you watched what she... And you're not even her type. She said a pretty boy. You're not her type at all, so you just wasted your time. But Elan, he then says that he chose Cierra because of their kiss and it had a zing. And he says that he just wanted to get to know her better. She also reciprocated that as well. She seems happy to get to know him. Olandria says she feels good because she's not really a physical type up front, so the kiss wouldn't have really sealed the deal for her anyways. But she then says that she essentially wants to just fall in love with the person. And if she falls in love with that person on the inside, she's good because looks fade, which is true. But Chelley feels great, obviously, because she got two options. And Ariana makes a joke about her being in a love triangle yet again. But Chelley ends up choosing Chris. Zach with the K goes and stands back over there with Ariana. And Zach C ends up choosing Iris. He chose her because she's nice and a beautiful person. She said the kiss was good. They're boring. But Bryan and Andreina, they both wanted each other, essentially. And they look good together, like I said. But Zach, he goes and chooses Olandria. So she was like, he was one of the people that did catch her eye. So it seemed like it was a good match. But we'll get to it. But Amaya, she's single. And like TJ, she has 24 hours to find a connection. Or she risks getting dumped from the island. And I don't like that. But they go ahead and check out the Casa Villa. Back at the actual villa, Coco's in there with the girls. So TJ and Vanna, they're pretty much having a conversation. They pretty much connected pretty well. I'm not going to get too much into this, but they connected pretty well. I see a possibility of them actually connecting. They seemed like they were pretty engaged with their conversation. Back at Casa Amor, and Olandria and Zach, they were having a really, really good conversation where you could tell he's a lot more mature. He's 29 years old. They were talking about like futures with having kids and stuff, and their parents kind of essentially rushing them into doing that. And he said something that me and my sister was like, yes, exactly. How parents typically are like, when you gonna have kids? And he's like, times are different. Like they're different than what it was when y'all were kids, which is so true. It's so true. But they start connecting on both having single moms of 3. And they just had a really, really good connection, a really good conversation. But she's sitting there in her confessionals talking about how she was still missing her man, Taylor. I said, Olandria, you a lost cause. I hate it because I want better for her, and she don't really want it, though. But Zach, he ends up going over to chat with Amaya, essentially. Hold on, I skipped something. Chelley and Chris, they were having a good conversation as well. Like, they were connecting off of just commonality, and you could tell he's a lot more mature, and he just makes more sense on paper, in my opinion, for her. And they were connecting on like what they like going on, like what they like and what they expect from a relationship and what they want with a partner. They had good connections. They had a lot of commonalities. Her love language matches with what he wants. He wants a woman that likes to cook. She said she came into their conversation hoping that it wasn't going to go well, but she ended up liking it. I'm like, yeah, because you got a grown man and not a child. But Amaya, she goes and talks to Zach, and they pretty much start having a good conversation. He likes her confidence. He's asking her if he stood out to her, and she was like, yeah, you did. And he ends up asking, like, what's her type? And she says a little bit of a bad boy. He says he's a retired bad boy. And she's like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, I'm chill, and I got boundaries and limits. And she asks what those boundaries are. As we all know, she got PTSD. And he pretty much tells her that he likes pet names, too. And I'm like, okay, this could work. Because as we all know, she likes saying babe. And he says that he pretty much does the same thing. But they're connecting and stuff, and one thing leads to another, and she asks for a kiss, and they over there tonguing each other down. I said, okay, interesting. She said, my clock is ticking. I got to get to work. Andreina and Bryan, they're also connecting very, very well. And y'all, the reason why I'm skipping through this is because my storage is about to literally cut me off, and I ain't got time. But they had a very good, strong connection as well, physically and emotionally. They were connecting on a lot of things, and you could tell Bryan is just a lot more mature. And that's what you need on this show, men that are actually mature, not a bunch of little boys. But they connected mentally and physically, they got it. They started tonguing each other down, and there was a lot of passion there. Andreina, she got it. She got chemistry with damn near everybody that she kisses. But he enjoyed it. She enjoyed it. Back at the villa, Nick ends up pulling Jaden to go talk as Austin's wife.